Ducky, ducky. We got a dollar, we got a dollar, we got a dollar, hey. We got a dollar, we got a dollar.
Hello everyone and welcome to Action RPG. I'm your host Aaron. And for today's video, we're headed to the world of Torchlight Infinite once again. Yesterday I was streaming this game for over 6 hours, and in the middle of it, we turned the stream into a watch party. And 120 of us went over to the official Torchlight Infinite Twitch, where they were holding this kind of developer creator stream titled What Makes a Good ARPG? Live roundtable discussion with Torchlight Infinite devs. And I gotta say, the first half of it, I mean, it was not very good. It was all generic. They weren't even talking about Torchlight. Then towards the middle, Rich asked the question about pay to win. And then things began to get a little more spicy because live on stream, you've got XD, Torchlight Infinite talking about it. And then you've got David Brevik and all these different people chiming in. So we're gonna watch this together. And I'm just interjecting myself into this round table. We have Rich, David Brevik, Torchlight devs, Riker, and 10. Let's do it.
In the closed beta, for instance, of Torchlight Infinite, you guys listened to feedback and you made some changes, which were very promising. If I can turn the question to the devs, now that we're in another beta period before launch, are you guys still open to making more changes in that regard? Are you still listening to player feedback on monetization?
Sure. If we're talking about feedbacks, I think Ian can jump in.
Like we said, we are always open to feedback. So one of the most time I spend on work each week is to collecting all of players' feedback and having an internal discussion about the dev team, whether it's which one of them is the one we're gonna focus on.
I need to talk to this guy directly.
And talking about the monetization model is the different approach I think we take rather than other companies. That the form is not what we think, because we want to create a sustainable and a long-term healthy. We want to bring new content each season to the game, which means, and also we want more players to have access to our game. So that means we are going to have taken the approach we have. Yeah, that's the different approach we take.
That's a tough question live on stream.
Riker's questions. We definitely, of course, we will constantly listen to the community.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, I spend all day on Discord and check all the reviews on Steam and other community. So we think as a modern game developer, that it's vital. It's to listen to your players and respect them. So if you check the changes from CBD3 to OBD, actually a lot of changes is not by our dev guys. It's what just we collect plenty of the feedbacks and we really found them really good suggestions, and it can bring huge value to the game. And after we address these feedbacks and we just implement these suggestions from the community, and in the end we just get a better game experience. So the designers will missing out some point always, right? But the community always be helpful. So we will constantly do this and listen to our community.
So us, the community, can change the game.
Feedbacks. And another thing is we are a season-based game. So that's the nice part, because each season we can just see how the season goes and we collect feedback. Then in the new season, the game experience improved, and also we bring new content. So that's how the season goes.
Yeah, taking the continuing on the words I said before. So the way we chose might not be the best option, but we're still collecting data and we are always open to player feedback, and we hope to create a long-term sustainable game in the future. Yeah.
On that topic, and I guess this might tie into the difference between PC and mobile monetization, do you guys feel that it's not possible to make a game that is also on mobile? Because of course you're cross-platform. that has that is viable in the long term, sustainable, that is only using cosmetic microtransactions?
Really good questions. Actually,
This is a tough question.
another question we discussed quite a lot internally. So first of all, we want to share is Torchlight Infinite. When we start the project, we are targeting cross-platform players. So we are not only exclusive on PC or console, and we are not only a mobile title. So cross-platform is really challenging because, as I mentioned, it's a huge player base, and you can see how diverse and how different these players. They have totally different game experience, game background, right? So it's really challenging, I would say. But rather than if we are going to this approach or that approach to the previous company, we just set up several guidelines. We had two guidelines to our game when we design our monetization. We have a green line and a red line. So the green line means the monetization should be sustainable to support a healthy business
This
cycle.
part's kind of interesting.
We are free to play and it's game as a service. We want to run the game in really long term. So if we cannot generate enough revenue to support the dev team, then we cannot deliver sufficient and high quality content to our players. So that's green line. So we should make sure our monetization should above this green line. But we also had a red line. The red line is David's last video he already mentioned in his interview. One of the interview is the core is we do not want the monetization affect the core gameplay. That's a red line. If we cross this line, that means the player's general game experience will be impacted. That's definitely the thing we wanted. It's not the thing we wanted. So just take the in detail. So for this red line, for example, we mentioned very clearly at the very beginning, we will never introduce PvP system in our game. So that means you don't. There's no incentive to win to other players. And again, we
I like PvP.
We don't sell any the in-game currency or these crafting materials, all this kind of stuff. We were never in a cash shop. It's all by loot. You loot for all of the things. It's like that. So there are just two very little examples, but we do have red lines. The in general is again. So we want the another word is actually I watched 10K's video. 10K also did a really detailed breakdown of our cash shop and monetization. Right? Maybe 10K can also add some of your perspective from a player's side. So
as a player,
how
who
our
spent more than 100 hours on our
what's
game.
your opinion? And also want to listen to your feedbacks. Yeah.
Sure. So the first thing
Tag
is,
me in,
I think
coach.
I've been in somewhat of a unique position. I've played Torchlight Infinite quite a lot, both in the closed beta test 3 and since then. But I've also been in communication directly so early on when there were some misunderstandings over things like the monetization test in the closed beta test 3, which, to be clear, I didn't agree with putting hero traits in a gacha system. That was definitely over my line. I had a way to communicate that and say, I don't like this. I hope this feedback's passed along. And I felt like I was listened to, and I was. It got changed. I do not like gacha systems. I don't like loot boxes. I also don't like things that tie spending money, especially over time, to in-game power in a way that feels coercive. And I know that's going to feel different for many people. I've played plenty of games and I've talked to a lot of players of many games. Everyone draws the line differently. I don't think something like a battle pass for a new character feels coercive. Yes, you have to buy the battle pass if you want the character, but there's going to be a free path for it. Eventually, I know right now you can get space-time elapse for free. I'm guessing that in the future, Thea will also be available for free for the tokens.
Yeah, for the new heroes in the season pass, we'll have a plan. Of course, we will introduce a new hero in each new season. And in the next season or the later on, the new hero or hero trait, of course, will fall into the hero shop, and you can direct purchase it. And of course, we will introduce the free currency to free-to-play players to collect them. Yeah, that's our plan.
We're taking those as champions in League of Legends. So yeah, that's more like the way how we design the entire thing.
Yeah. I think that, you know, breaking it up with the red line and the green line, I've definitely seen a lot of different titles take a lot of different routes, right? And I think that red line is a very good thing.
Loves gotcha systems.
There's some games that I've played where, you know, maybe one of the core gameplay loops that does progress your character, every single time you play it or are trying to play it, you need to pay to actually do it. In other games, sometimes, and I think 10, this kind of goes off of what you were talking about, there are moments where you feel like you can't progress forward without clicking that random banner that just popped up on your screen. But I think a lot of these things are so nuanced that, you know, the idea of pay to win is always kind of thrown around as a blanket term. And, you know, when one person is saying it to another person, their terms really don't mean the same thing.
This is true. It is not
I'm talking about pay to win, I'm talking about like a PvP game where I am straight up taking out my wallet and I am battling against somebody else's wallet. And anybody who watches my stream knows that I do that all the time. I will admit, I do play those games, and I very much know that I'm playing a pay to win game, and that is what it is. And I will tell anyone that it is like that's what it is. Now, when people start seeing battle passes and things like that, and they consider that pay to win, I think they're completely different things. I don't even think that they're remotely on the same planet. And I'm curious, David, when you're looking at all these things that change, you've been here at the dawn of ARPGs.
Brevik is up.
You're involved in the genre, even being able to come alive.
One of the creators
what's
of Diablo.
Your view on how this has all shifted over time?
Well, it's fascinating. One of the things that is kind of new that we kind of have touched on here a little bit is that we're seeing mobile ARPGs really kind of for the first time. And in general, mobile titles are free to play. And that has a huge impact on how you design your game and what you're going to charge for and all this kind of stuff. And now kind of two worlds are colliding between PC world and console world and what they're kind of used to, which is like, you know, maybe, you know, a single purchase kind of things. And then now we've got mobile and it's like, you know, I don't know, chocolate and peanut butter coming together. And so like new things are going to have to be tried there, and there's going to be different ways to approach this problem. The fact of the matter is that on mobile, you won't get users unless you're free to play. Like the flat metrics are out there that charging for a product just doesn't work on mobile. So if you're going to have a mobile title that's also on PC, you want to get all those mobile users, and you're going to need to be free to play. So that already sets the stage for what kind of business model you need to use. And then it's like, okay, we're having these green lines and red lines, and different people have different red lines and green lines. And you're going to have to charge for something. Like you can't just make games for free. Like a lot of people, I feel like there's a lot of entitlement with some of the gamers about like, give me everything and give it all to me for free. But come on, you know, there has to be some kind of way that the devs are, you know, get money to actually create a business to actually make the, you know, feed themselves and make the game and the content. It is a business. So I think it's a tricky thing to do. I think that the Torchlight Infinite group is doing a fantastic job listening to the audience, making changes, trying to be as thoughtful as possible, and coming up with a system that hopefully will appeal to everybody. And having those kind of like that, I think that people throw the term pay to win around. They do it for as a clickbait kind of thing. You know, it's like, oh my God, it's pay to win, you know, and
That's what this video is.
And whether or not you believe it is pay to
gave
win
me
or
the
not, or
idea
whatever,
yesterday.
I mean, we can debate that to death, but I don't really know if that helps anything. The fact is that people are going to have their views, and whenever kind of monetization happens in a free-to-play world, some people are going to like it and some people are not. And traditionally, you didn't hear about it that much because there really isn't the same kind of community feedback on mobile stuff like there was on PC. You know, mobile's been free to play. It was kind of a built-in expectation, and now that more games are trending towards free to play on PC, you're getting much more vocal audience. So there's kind of these lines and these battles that be drawn. And, you know, I think that having the green line that they have in Torchlight Infinite of it, you can play the entire game for free is super generous. You can get through in all of the content for free, loot all of the things that you want to loot, or make the builds you want to build. All of that kind of stuff is pretty spectacular, and it's a very generous model.
I will just pause it right there for a second, because last night during my stream, I unlocked tier 7 on all maps and I beat the endgame boss. Not the uber boss, but like the boss, whatever his name is, in the Nether Realm. So I have cleared all content. I have cleared the Nether Realm with the exception of the uber boss. I have spent 0 on pets. 0. Now I did get the battle pass, but I did not buy any hero traits, right? So $15 for the battle pass, 0 money on pets. I'm having a great time, and so far, pet system, I haven't needed it. Just my take.
So I think that that overall, that's you know, I think that their monetization is really thoughtful and great.
Yeah, and just to jump in with something that I don't think gets talked about a lot. This sort of monetization on PC has existed for really as long as I can remember, but it was free-to-play browser games, which were very much a thing in the early 2000s. They were on Facebook, Congregate, all sorts of sites. And then they kind of died out, but they didn't really die, they moved to mobile. And it's always been that they were free-to-play, there were good ones that treated players well, there were bad ones that made you feel like you're a second-class citizen if you're not paying them. I remember one of the games, there's this pop-up that would literally say, "Hey, loser, you should buy this." And it's like, what? You think I'm going to give you $1 if you call me a loser? I then closed the game and never returned to it. My own experience with, because I've played a lot of games that would generally be agreed as pay to win by a lot of people or not pay to win. When monetization gets in the way of me having fun and playing the game, it's a problem for me. There's certainly some aspects of Torchlight Infinite, like the pack spirits, that I'm not a fan of. I don't like randomization in anything that's paid. I'd much prefer if the pack spirits ideally didn't have any in-game effect, but if they did, that they're just in the shop and it's, you know, a price. I honestly don't care, $20, $2,000. I don't care the number, but just you pay an amount, you get the pet. I prefer the skins. You pay an amount, you get the pet. At the end of the day, though, if I never pay any money into that system, if I just buy the battle pass, buy some stash space, I'll be able to do everything. I'll have a great time. I don't feel held back in any way.
Yeah, that's honestly the green line that we talk about, is because we want to guarantee the core gameplay as a free-to-play player can experience all the end game.
Where can I get that
and
sweater
can
at?
honestly experience all the experience that a paid player could have. So that's what the red line and green line thing brings up in Torchlight Infinite. It's like,
I will be just full transparency from my end right now. My chat already knows this. Like, I am a filthy pay to win player in everything I do. You know,
We know.
I play gacha games all day long. I love it. It's something I have a lot of
Thousands
fun
in
with.
Immortal.
I didn't even realize how the pack spirits actually worked at the beginning of the game, and I had pretty much beat everything. I knew that, you know, you could get pack spirits, but I didn't really realize, like, okay, like this pet's going to be able to do this any better. And I didn't need the power from it. It wasn't like content was gated behind a level of power that I felt forced to get the pack spirits. And there wasn't like this moment where it was, you know, you clear your first dungeon. So it's like, hey, you can get like 800% value pack spirit right now. You know, like I didn't have those moments. So when you're talking about that green line, what was your goal with the pack spirits? Like, what did you actually want it to feel like for the player if you're not necessarily gating them behind something.
I love it. They won't let them go. They just keep pushing it.
Okay. So just back to how we design the core gameplay and the monetization. So as a developer, of course, we have to think both of the things. As a player, maybe you only care about the core gameplay, right? I want the game to be fun and right there. But as a developer, we had a relatively large team. So we want things. So that's why I said the green line. So we should add something or to generate some revenue to support the dev team. But how we did this, to my perspective or our team, there are two approaches. So one approach is you integrate the monetization with the core gameplay. So if you do this, you can feel that. So when you want to progressing, you want to get more powerful, there is some way you can pay and you can get stronger. So that's one approach, and we see a lot of free-to-play games are doing this. But actually, as a player or even developer, we don't like this. It's not our goal to do this. But in the other hand, so we did in another approach. That means gameplay first, monetization second. And
these are pretty smart guys right here.
It's detached. That's the key.
And going into the Lions Den,
the pack system actually is detached from the core gameplay. You can,
Jack. I just came up with a great idea.
Yeah.
So Rich, you're such an experienced player and you've been playing all kinds of games. But do you think you can beat a hardcore free-to-play game player in Torchlight Infinite?
I mean, I'm willing to try.
Yeah.
I'm relatively confident I can do okay.
Yeah. So basically, what I think of is we're gonna do like a speed run thing, and you can have unlimited budget on Torchlight Infinite, while we will have some of our hardcore free-to-play players to do this race, I would call.
Yeah, facts speak louder than words, right?
Yeah, I think the explanation is just
we
not
don't need
that
argue round.
Yeah. The thing is, it's not that convincing.
So unlimited budget basically means
developer, but
you will have
do it like using the fact to show the entire thing.
Tier 6 legendary pets.
I am fully willing to have an unlimited budget in gameplay. Like that, I am fine with that. I will go unhinged.
3 Tier 6 legendary pets that fit your build. I don't know how much power that would have. I don't know.
You get refund.
I would think a lot.
Yeah.
There you go. I like that. All right. I'm definitely willing to give that a try.
Yeah, let's make a plan for detail, right?
Yeah, I'll think about the detailed things later on.
Really
we'll
good idea. Yeah.
Announce the entire thing if we set it up. Yeah, but what do you think about this plan?
I'm 100% there. I mean, I don't know if I'll be able to win, and I know no matter what happens, my chat will always be there to make fun of me if I don't. So I know that they will be waiting to make fun of me. But yeah, I think that we can figure out what we race to, and we give it a go.
Yeah, for sure. I'll set the detailed rules will be set later on. I'm pretty sure it'll be fair to both of us. I guarantee that.
We'll share to the community
as well. Yeah, we want everyone to see what was going on here. Yeah, that's our plan.
I'm about it. I mean,
it's kind of interesting, right? So they don't say anything about actually changing. They say they listen to feedback, and the community, they're always going to listen and make changes for them. But during this whole thing, they never talk about actually changing the gacha system inside of the game, because they need to be on that green line. They got to make sure that they can create great content season over season, but also put food on the table. Okay, that's fine. So the new strategy, right, is, okay, let's take a really, really good free-to-play player, and we'll give Rich, who's played the game but is probably nowhere near an expert, and we'll just give him all the money in the world. And then we'll showcase what somebody that is really good at the game can do and somebody that just spends a lot of money can do. It is actually a brilliant strategy on their end.
You're gonna need to borrow a build from
because it's gonna prove that, look,
I'm not running around.
Yeah, it's not pay to win.
I don't know, that might be considered cheating. I think you might have to use your own unique build here.
Oh no!
I think we're up to everything. It's just like
Maybe you discover a unique one that nobody found yet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, wow. That's
Oh no,
dangerous.
now I need to make a build.
That's a little bit risky for us now.
I will be honest. My build creation is probably pretty bad. I've had the advantage of, you talk about how much this scene has changed. There's been so many content creators I've been able to watch basically the entire time I've been playing ARPGs. Like Riker, you're probably the first person I was watching to try to figure out how to beat content. So I've had the luck of never having to use my own brain to make a build.
Not I.
But
Riker, thank you.
My first Torchlight build is coming this
you can
weekend.
choose a side. You can choose a paid player side or a free player side. Yeah, it's up to you. You can
Definitely
welcome to join. Yeah.
I honestly think
discuss
I'd probably lose either way, to be fair. I'm not particularly fast. Now, if you tell me I can abuse the trade market, then I might stand a chance, but I'm not a very fast player. I'm much better at making builds than playing them, to be fair.
Yeah, I should think about the abuse of using of trade house. Just you do things normally. It's not like you put a trash gear on it and sell it for like a 500 fire element.
No.
That's not the case. But if you do it normally, that's definitely the case we want it to happen, because we want to show how
we work out the detail.
Yeah, we were working on the details later on.
Rich,
that's a deal.
Ready? Let's do it.
I'm all about it. I'm all about it. Even if we do it like almost like solo self-found style.
Yeah, that's another concern that I would think about.
You will have a consulting team.
No.
This.
The solo self-found.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna cut it right there because they talk through all the basically pay to win aspects, and then it's all thank yous, and we appreciate your time. So I want to know your opinion, okay? If you're out there and you gave Torchlight Infinite a chance, are you happy with this interview? Are you happy with what the developers say about the future? Do you think this game is pay to win? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. 2 asks at the end of this video. Ask number 1, I'm hoping today is the day I have earned your subscription. Hoping today is the day you make the decision to push that little red button. I would really appreciate it. Really does help the channel as we are coming to the end of 2022. Ask number 2, check out my Patreon. Thank you to the first 47 members that have signed up. Become an instant ARPG VIP and get Patreon exclusive content at the first link in the description. We have a weekly blog post, weekly podcast, access to the VIP lounge where you get to chit chat with me every single day. Special title for the Discord, added wheel spins at the end of the month. Lots of goodies. Again, first link in the description. That's all I've got. Torchlight Infinite, clickbait, pay to win. Hopefully you were entertained or at least learned something. Aaron, out.